This is the Action Movie Guys podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now, your hosts of the Action Movie Guys podcast, Alex and Nate.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode number 144 of the Action Movie Guys podcast. I'm your host, Nate, and this is my co-host,
Alex Figueroa.
And we are going to be wrapping up our trip, we'll call it our trip through the decades, the 1970s. This is our fifth and final film from 1971, a little movie called Shaft, starring Richard Roundtree and a bunch of other people. Alex, I already know the answer, but this is a first-time watch for you, correct?
Yeah, I'd never seen this movie. It actually is funny. I heard of the Samuel Jackson version. Never knew that they had like an original Shaft.
I've seen his version of it, and this was my first time watching this one. The only thing I knew about this movie was I knew Richard Roundtree played Shaft, and I knew the song. I've heard the song.
Okay.
Other than that, this is a first-time watch, so we're going to be getting into that in a moment. Now, before we do, just some Rotten Tomatoes, because we no longer care about how much money these movies made. It doesn't matter. These movies, Transformers made $8 billion, and some of them sucked. It doesn't matter, but we just want to let you guys know if people like these movies. So this one was weird because there was a Rotten Tomatoes score, but when you actually click on the Rotten Tomatoes page, it's like doesn't exist. So from what I gathered, this has an 86% critic score, so very high as far as critics. Audience score, 68%. So a little bit lower for audiences, high for critics, 86. This is a forerunner of the blaxploitation genre. So this is it's an important film as far as film history and what it ended up inspiring afterward. But me and Alex don't know any of that. We just watched Shaft, and we're going to be talking about Shaft. So without further ado, Richard Roundtree, lead character, John Shaft. Got to be one of the best names in the history of movies.
Shaft.
John Shaft. Alex, take it away.
Okay. Dude, oh my God. This dude is freaking weird. I'm going to be honest with you. This is a freaking weird character. So he's like a private eye. He's like a detective, right? And first of all, I thought he was a cop, right? But then I kind of figured, I was like, wait a minute, this dude is a private eye cop that gets hired by the villain, basically search for his daughter because they kidnapped the mafia took his daughter. And pretty much that's what the gif that I got from the movie.
That's right.
Yeah. So the character himself, I was not digging him. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was not digging him. He was good, right? But I thought it was gonna be more like a Dirty Harry type character. Mm-hmm. But it was, I don't know, to me, it's a very weird character for me because it's like he's good and bad, like a private eye. Right? Like he doesn't care what the cops do, but then he cares what the cops do. And then he has a friend in the force. And it's like, I ain't going to give you no information. And he was like, I tell you when I want to tell you. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then the guy's like, well, Shaft, if you don't tell me, I'm going to take away your license. Right? And I'm like, what the hell? And then he's like, it's just like a weird, maybe it's because it's the 70s. Like, I don't know the language of these, like that decade had different languages from the 80s and 70s, 90s, 2000s.
Like early 70s in New York City.
Yeah, so they have like this type of language lingo, from that era. So you got Jive Turkey, you have Can You Dig It, you have all this stuff, and honestly, it didn't work for me. I don't know. I can't wait to hear what you say. I gave him a 3. I thought as a character, I thought he was good. But other than that, I couldn't.
Well, the folks at home are going to be very excited because I love this guy. I freaking loved him. Oh my gosh, he was so funny. I laughed. Now, I don't know if I was always supposed to, but I laughed at almost when the cop asked him, hey, Shaft, what did you get? As far as information, he's like, laid. And then he just walks away. He just leaves. Like, this character is such a, like, for lack of it, he's not a gangster, but he's such a gangster character. Like, he says what he wants to who he wants. And nobody could tell him nothing. He pretends to be gay at that one bar when he's the bartender. Hilarious. Like, that crap was so funny. I love the way he talks to the main villain. What's his name? Bumpy something or the other.
Yeah, something like that.
He just talks to him like he does not care. And I really enjoyed watching him not care. Now, the weird parts for me was when it'd be like all of a sudden he'd be home and he just like sleep with some ladies. You know what I mean? Like, I get why they did that. And, you know, it's definitely very James Bondish, you know, like he's the lead character. He gets all, and it's in the theme song. It says he gets all the ladies, man. But it's kind of weird to watch. Like, all of a sudden, this white lady at the bar just wants to hook up with him and they just start kissing in the shower. And I'm like, okay, I guess. And he's got this important case, but he has all these time to just like sleep with women. But it does make for some good jokes, to be honest with you. But I really liked him. I thought he was a ton of fun. Is he perfect? No, it's not a 5 for me, but definitely a 4. Definitely a 4. And I definitely see why he's iconic. I mean, there's like, I don't know, 4 sequels to this movie or something, and then 2 remakes. And I get it. I get it now that I've seen it. Is it my favorite thing ever? No, but is it great to watch? I was entertained. So 4 for me, 3 for you. Okay, villain, Bumpy. I just know just call him Bumpy.
I gave him a 2. Bumpy's a 2. He ain't do nothing. I mean, Bumpy didn't do nothing. He just demanded money, and he was like, "I'll give it to you. All you have to do is give my daughter back." That's pretty much all he did. That's all he did. Because then he had the henchmen, and then he had all the other people that he teamed up with, and then the cops. So, like, honestly, if we're really talking about the villain, there ain't no villain, right? I mean, besides the mafia guys, but those guys didn't do shit either. So it's like, how can we even sit down and break down the villains when there was, honestly, there's no villain here. There is no villain for John Shaft because he's working with the villain to get his daughter, and then the mafia dudes, but he's not going up against one mafia guy. He's going up against a lot of other mafia characters, and it didn't. I mean,
you could score the mob too, or the mafia.
Yeah, I give it a 2. It
doesn't matter. It's a 2 to score.
Yeah, it's a
fair enough. Fair enough. You know what? I'm gonna agree with you on this one. I'm also at a 2. This is not that kind of movie. It doesn't require. It would have been cool if there was like a super great villain, but it's not like mandatory. Which we're gonna get to storyline in a little bit. But I agree. He was okay. Like, he sent the guys to go get him in his office earlier. They got wrecked. The dude got thrown out the window. That was also hilarious. I love that. There's so many parts of this movie that I really liked, actually. But that was hilarious. You know, but you're right. And then he's like, "I'll give you any money you need. Whatever you need. Just bring me my daughter." And then literally 30 minutes later, he's like, "Well, I already knew the mafia took her. I already knew." And he's like laying on the couch, smoking cigars. I'm like, what is this guy? I don't know. I wasn't crazy about him. And the mafia or mob, whatever you want to call them, they're like not a big presence as far as to make like an impact. So I agree with you. I'm also at a 2. They exist and they're not horrible trash. So it's not a 1, but it's just above a soft 2.
Yeah.
Soft 2. Okay, action.
All right, there ain't no damn action in this movie. Let's just get to this thing. There's no action, and you cannot tell me otherwise. There's the fight. There's the fight scene that he throws the guy. First of all, I didn't throw him out the window. He tripped out the window. That was
you know what
funny.
I mean.
Yeah, he goes, "You want to follow your friend and go out that window?" Anyway, you have that scene. You have the scene with the mob guy and where he gets shot in the shoulder. That's 2. And then you got the guy with the water hose. That had me laughing so much when he turned on the hose for water and the guy gets slammed. He's yeah. My favorite action scene in this movie is when Shaft punches the black guy. He went, whoa. And he falls into the cabinet.
Yes,
I lost it. I said, this movie's genius. I said, if this is not a comedy movie, then they suckered me, man, because this is straight comedy from front to back. I think the fightings were hilarious. I think the fight, when he crashes through the window because they threw the mob.
Yeah.
Yo, this is what makes it funny. They throw a Molotov cocktail through the window. He comes through the same window.
He's never scared.
No, he's not. It's so hilarious. And, you know, he saves the girl. He saves the day, whatever. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. But honestly, in terms of quality of the action sequences, it's not as good, right? I mean, but I can't, because this is 70s. So I can't hurt it for the decade and the generation that came out in. So with that, is it great? No. It's not a great action, but I gave it a 3. I think this was good action, fun action, and I think it worked with the movie.
You know what's funny? And not only that, not only for the, for like the time it came out, this movie only had a $500,000 budget. So this is, and I know that's a lot more in 1970, but that would be equal now to like, imagine a movie that had like a $3 million budget. That's small by, standards. So this is a low budget film, and taking into account the genre, that affects, and the reason I'm bringing that up is you're right. Like the fight scenes are so funny because they're serious. They're not trying to be funny, but like the execution of them and the way they fight, like, it was like watching the Power Rangers fight in the 90s. Like, the guy falls down and then he gets up, and then the camera will show his face and he's like, he's hurt, and then he gets up and the other. So you're right. I agree with you. It's kind of weird. And then then there's some shooting. When he goes to that meeting when they're in the I don't know where they are. We're in a meeting and there's some shooting and he gets shot, like you mentioned. It's not a lot. It's entertaining. I like it. It brings a little life to some of those scenes. It makes me laugh. When a guy falls out the window, I just want to watch that over and over. It's so funny. I'm right there with you. I'm going to give it a 3. I do think, and this is going to be in my overall section, but I do think there are things that I saw in this movie that would make me think if they had like money, like if this was a bigger movie, some things could have been done, even for the time, like the early 70s. But I'll get to that later. So I'm going to give it a 3 because I was entertained by the action scenes. They're not great, and there's only a couple of them. But but the poster makes it look like there's going to be a ton. He's like holding on the rope, and he got a gun, and it's like, whoa, shoot, this is going to be crazy. And it's not. There's not that crazy. It's a lot of walking and talking, but that's okay. All right, a storyline.
Oh my God. Walking and talking ain't the word. That beginning sequence was like 12 minutes of him walking through Manhattan. Almost got hit by a car, and he was like, fuck you, man.
That was so funny.
It's so random. Yeah. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was good, but I was like, Jesus, this is a long-ass intro to the character. The storyline, look, it was a typical storyline. It wasn't crazy over the top. The main head guy, the daughter gets kidnapped, hires John Shaft. Shaft has to go save the daughter. That's pretty much the whole gist of this movie. There was nothing crazy, but there was other plot lines on top of that too. He has to help the cops, which is his friend, and they have jokes here and there. With that said, is it generic? Was it great? Was it entertaining? It was entertaining. I wasn't bored at all.
Right.
It does only the beginning a little bit, because I was like, this is a way too long sequence of him just walking through Manhattan. But then it was just started to get comical, and I was just like, yo, this is actually funny. I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was funny. I thought it was good. I know it's not supposed to be like this comedy thing, but guess what? It's the 70s, and nothing I can do. And there's a reason why he's like Nate said, he's a classic character that people enjoyed. And I was entertained with it. I thought it was pretty cool. He was really good. He banged 2 different chicks. And I was like, hey, that
for no reason.
For no
like,
reason.
who's the other one? He didn't even care. He was like, I thought that was his girl. There's pictures of them on the mantle. And then he's just hooking up with the white chick.
Dude, what's so funny about this thing is that he's at the bar. And the gay guy goes up to him and says,
the gay bar is my favorite part.
He goes, my friend over there with the fine titties wants to take you home.
And she's just like looking at him with her drink.
She's like,
Amazing. I wish I was alive in the 70s.
Me really too. At this point, I mean, if the dudes are coming up to you, be like, hey, she wants to bang you. And he was just like, oh, yeah, all right. And then he went to kick it on the other guys and get them caught. But honestly, as a total package in terms of storyline, I had fun with it. It was entertaining. So I gave it a 3.5. I thought it was good.
I'm a little above you on the storyline. I actually liked it. I liked it a lot. Actually, I think this is a good crime. This is like a crime thriller more than like an action film. Like, you know what I mean? But it works. If you did this same story, you could still do the same story now. And I like that. I like when I watch older movies and the storyline works in today's world. You can have a gangster hire a detective to find a kidnapped daughter, and it's actually a mob story. And this works in 1971, and it works in 2022, to be honest with you. So I love stories that can translate. It's not, the story aspect is not super dated. Now, a lot of the other stuff is dated, obviously fashion, the way they talk, but you can't help that. It's, it's of the time. So I liked it. I thought the storyline was good. I do like a good crime thriller. So, I'm all in on a good cop movie. This is essentially a cop movie where the main character is not a real cop. And I like that because he can work in that gray zone because he's not a cop, right? So he doesn't have to follow all the cop rules, but he works with them, but he also works with bad people. but he also doesn't care about anybody. He pretty much doesn't like all of them, but he a little bit likes some of them. So he's a very unique character, and I liked it a lot. I gave it a 4. I was like you said, I think the main thing is it's a very entertaining story. Like, I was never bored. You're right. The beginnings, I don't know why he was walking around the streets for so long and like going up to that guy and asking him for like tips. And the guy tells him something like, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what he said to him. But then he walks away. He's like, thanks, man. And then he walks down the street. And he keeps going.
The dude was blind.
Shot lingers. Yeah. I know. Well, the blind guy knows stuff that this guy don't know. And then he walks down the street and the camera stays while he walks. He's walking. And then, he walks around and talks to more people. I'm like, all right. Enough of this. And then it gets a little good again. So, I gave it a 4, though. I thought it was entertaining. Okay, overall.
All right, here we go. Overall, I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed myself. I gave it a 3.5 also. I don't think it was like a great movie. I don't think it was, maybe at the time, if I lived through that era, I would have been, man, Shaft is actually a pretty good movie. It's a good movie. I think it's a very good 70s film. I mean, we've been tackling 70s films now for like 2 months now because of the live shows that we've been doing plus. So I've been enjoying the 70s movies. There's been drama ones that we tackled that was really good. Not much of the action, but now we did for the podcast, and I've been enjoying them. I see the strong suit where the 70s have better storylines. I think it has straight storylines, creative storylines, unique, original storylines, whereas it starts to get repetitive throughout the generations the more action movie starts to come out. So with that said, I enjoyed Shaft. I thought it was really good. Am I going to purchase this on 4K Criterion? No. I purchased it digitally, so that's going to get converted to 4K, but I cannot see myself getting a physical copy of this movie and then popping it on here and there. But it was entertaining for me to support the movie, to buy it, whether it was digital form. So with that, I gave it a 3.5.
That's great. I watched it on Amazon Prime, so I didn't even pay for it. But would I buy this on 4K Criterion? Maybe. I'm on the fence. I had a good time. This seems like something that I would like to watch again in like a couple of years. So that being said, it may make its way onto my shelves. I do agree with you. I have a 3.5, a 7 out of 10 for me. And 7 out of 10 is worth owning, in my opinion. So I liked it. I didn't love it. But what I was going to say is I think there's a lot of good in this. Number one, the music is really good. Isaac Hayes did the music for this movie. It's great. It's very 70s, but it's like soul music, kind of R&B. But I love 70s music, to be honest with you, in general, whether it's soul or a rock, or I even like disco. I love 70s music. So I love the soundtrack. There's a lot of creative direction in this, the cinematography. And that's what I was going at. There's some good shots in this. There's a couple times where the camera's really moving, and I'm into like that sort of thing, when watching a movie, especially when there's a lot of scenes where they're just kind of talking. The direction then picks up, if it's not just static, right? It's not like, this is not a point and shoot movie. Most of the time, something's happening, the camera's moving. So I think there's a lot of talent that went into making it, but it was low budget. So they can only work with what they had. And this was MGM, who at the time was really doing bad. So they didn't give it much of a budget. I ended up, looking it up afterward. And it was like a big success for them. So that's why they ended up making a bunch more. But a good, solid 70s movie. Is the blaxploitation genre something that I've seen a lot of? No, to be honest. I'm familiar with it. The Black Dynamite. I know we talked about Black Dynamite, which is like I wouldn't call it a spoof. I would call it an homage, to be honest, to these type of movies. Leans a little more comedic, but it's an homage. I've seen that. And now that you've seen this, you could see, okay, I totally see what that movie was doing now that I've seen the original, like not the creator, but like the first big in that genre. So I really enjoyed it, but I agree, there's flaws. It's not the best. 3.5 for me. So what's your total points?
I gave it a 15 out of a 25. I enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed it. And the funny thing, you talked about cinematography and direction. There was one scene in the movie that I thought it was very creative. And we've seen a lot of 70s so far within 2 months that I haven't seen the shot was where the guy is choking him out and you saw the camera getting choked out. You saw the hands on the
like
camera.
First person.
Yeah. So I thought it worked very well for that scene. I mean, it looked funny and corny or whatever, but for that era, it actually worked. Yeah, I thought it worked very well. I thought it was pretty cool. And when Boobs, or what was his name? Bopsy or Boopsy, whatever. Bumpy
Boobs
was talking and he started to walk towards the camera, looking at the camera, like dead eye to the camera. And I thought that was work. It was perfect. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, there's a ton of creativity that went into this. So I'm right there with you. I gave it a 16.5.
Okay.
It was good. I think we've seen some better 70s movies.
Yeah.
But also those other movies had a lot of advantages that this one didn't have, namely budgets and big stars and maybe not the Warriors, but, that was super creative. I love what you said about these 70s movies. If you look at the concepts for them, they are so much more creative than most of the movies that come out now. Like, The Warriors is one of the most creative. It's weird. Can you say they're weird? Sure.
No.
But they're creative. These people were telling interesting stories. They're not action heavy, but that's okay. We had a great time. So that's Shaft. We're done with the 70s. Moving on, next week, we got 2 episodes coming. You guys already know we got 2 episodes coming your way. First up, continuing with our Bourne franchise movies, we'll be going with the Bourne Supremacy. And now, you know where we're going. Down the river of time into the 80s. Going into the 80s on the river of time. And our first 80s film, a little John Carpenter movie. Again, as voted on by you guys, Escape from New York. So we're going to be tackling some Escape from New York, and we're going to be doing some Bourne. And then in the 80s, there's a couple other big ones. I'm not going to preview all of them. Usually I do. Well, wait, we're going into the 80s. So that's what we got coming up next week.
Yeah, there you have it, guys. If you want to follow us on our social media accounts, please follow Nate over on Instagram at NateFlix Reviews. Check out the podcast with him and his friends called NateFlix Movie Reviews. Anything action movie, guys, head over to youtube.com/Ultra HD Geeks. That's where you can check out our video version of the podcast you're listening to. If you want to take us on the go and you don't have us on the go, you can search for Action Movie Guys anywhere from Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or TuneIn Radio. Just search for Action Movie Guys. Other than that, that's your host,
Nate from NateFlix Reviews.
I'm his co-host, Alex Figueroa. Be awesome to each other and geek out.